everyone, welcome to my channel. Now we take in our discussion essay 315. Essay 315 is revised. I think it's not revised. It's come in April 2008. What's the name of the essay? Name of the essay is identifying and assessing the risk of material misstatement through understanding the entity and its environment. If we talk about the identifying and assessing the risk of material misstatement, then this risk is arises when internal controls are not effective. What we understand by internal control? What's the internal control? Internal control is imposed by the management or TCWG in the entity for reliability of the reporting informations, for safeguarding of assets, for effectiveness and efficiency of the operations which is done in the entity, and compliances with all law and regulations. Okay, this all about the internal controls. Then what's the risk and how we identify that there is risk? Risk is what can go wrong, and likelihood of misstatement, possibility of multiple misstatement is the risk. Okay, misstatement, if we say about the misstatement, then I take a point here. Misstatement at the level of financial statement and misstatement at assertion level. There is two different levels where we talk about the misstatement. If there is a misstatement at financial statement level, then we adopt the general audit procedures. And if we talk about the misstatement, risk of material misstatement at assertion level is a particular account balance, particular disclosure amount, or particular transaction. If we talk about the assertion level, then we adopt the further audit procedure, because general audit procedure is for whole balance sheet, P&L, cash flows. This is the whole financial statement. We can provide the opinion on financial statement level, but there is a material misstatement at assertion level, then we adopt the further audit procedure if it requires. Okay, then if we talk about the procedures to be assess the risk, procedures we can inquire from the management, or we can inquire from management, we can observe and inspect the internal control, or we analytical procedures we discuss in 520. Okay, so we adopt the analytical procedures. These are procedures we can apply. Now firstly, in this essay we talk about the entity and its understanding the entity and its environment. How we understand the entity and its environment? We can understand the entity's environment through the management competence, management integrity, management operating style, or participation of those charged with governance, supervision techniques of those charged with governance, or we can say that was the accounting principle is applicable on the entity, what's the accounting principles which is changed from the previous year. It is also an important aspect if we want to understand the entity's environment. And if we talk about the understanding the entity's environment, then we also inquire about the investment in which entity is investment securities in which entity is invested, and what's the financial structure of the entity. Debt equity ratio can be checked here, or governance structure can be checked here. Everything is important for understanding the entity and its environment. Okay, then we talk about the assessment of risk of material statement in detail. We understand it. If we talk about it financial statement level, then we take here the processes of completion, completeness, cutoff, or accuracy, cutoff, completion, or comparison. If you talk about the completeness, then you should check the all transaction is recorded completely, recorded accurately, or all the transactions. Cutoff is like the period which is relevant of like current year transaction should be recorded in current year, and comparison of the transaction, this all this all is assessment evaluations of the financial statement level. Then we talk about the assertion level. At assertion level we can check the valuation, we can check the rights and obligations, liability, rights like in balance sheet we shows the rights at asset side and obligations we shows at liability side. Okay, rights and obligations. Then we check here the account balance. Assertion level is account balance level. We can say account balance level because a particular account balance is checked here. So we check here the existence of the transactions and this will check. But at a disclosure you can check everything like existence, you can check the occurrence, you can check completeness is check at every level. And completeness, you rights and obligation you can check, accuracy valuation you can check here. This all is the evaluation, this all is required to evaluate. Okay, at a financial statement level, assertion level and disclosure. Then areas to be examined for the deficiencies and risk identified in CIS environment, computerized information system. In this, what's the areas we check here? So here we check the firstly, the program developed and maintained is proper or not. If you are as an or you work as an auditor, you should check the uh, program developed proper or not, then maintained after development, maintained proper or not. Then secondly we check the processing of the program is proper or not, the system software is support or not. Then we check here the control over the access and utility programs. Then we check the operations, processing, etc. is security, physical securities also can check here. So we check here the areas to be examined here for the risk identification in CIS environment. Okay, then the most important question is the components of internal control. There is the five components. First is the control environment. Then this should be learned in sequence. Control environment, then risk assessment, then information, then control activities, or then monitoring. Okay. First we talk about the control environment. If we talk about the control environment, then we check here the management integrity. Obviously, management integrity, management operating procedures, TCWG participation is also checked here. Human resource policies and practices, we can check here. Authority and responsibility, wherever you have authority, the responsibilities simultaneously come. We all knows now. So you check here the assignment of authority and responsibilities. Then organizational structure, this all is checked when we talk about this all is the element of the control environment. Then we talk about the risk assessment process. Risk assess wherever there is any change or there is any new technologies or new thing is insert, then the risk is higher. So we check here the risk assessment procedure. We check the new information system is adopted by the entity, new technologies is adopted by the entity for the operating processes, new personnel is appointed in the entity. If there is a change in accounting principles, then also there can be risk. Then we talk about the expansion and corporate restructuring or expansion in foreign exchange operations. These all the areas, these all the components of risk assessment. Okay. Then we talk about the information system. Information system is firstly you initiate. Simply we can say input, process and output. So we in these terms we can say input is initiate, then process, then output is report. So first input, record, process and output. We can take summaries also. Okay, so this all is the information system. How it's work, I explain here. How it works is inputs inserted. So insert the information system is work as the when inserted input, then it is processed, then only output come. If you wrong input is inserted, then output is definitely wrong. So you should check here the whole the series, whole the sequence. Input is correct, then process is correct, then output is correct. If there is any processing deficiency or incorrectness, then you take an action, appropriate action on that, on this. Or if there is any process which is override the internal control, then also you take any action. Okay, then we talk about the control activities. If we talk about the control activities, then very simple: perform reviews, then physical controls. You can check. No any system is 100% automated. Physical control is everywhere required, because manual intervention is everywhere required. So you check the physical control, you check the segregation of duties. This all is, or management done the segregation of duties, then it's a proper control activity. This all is this all is the element of control activity. Then we talk about the monitoring. Monitoring is always a process where the expected results and actual results is checked. If there is difference between the expected and actual, then take the appropriate action. Okay, this is the monitoring process. This is the final element of the internal control. Then last, we talk about the specific risk that an IT system can pose to an entity's internal control. Specific risk that information technology system can be posed to an entity's internal control. What's the specific risk here? Unauthorized access of the system, unauthorized access of the uh, data, or unauthorized or inaccurately process any data, or incorrect transactions can be processed here. Inaccurate recording of the transactions. Then we can say that the unauthorized change in the master file or system programs, and inappropriate manual intervention, and IT personnel gaining access, more access. So there is a breaking of the segregation of duty. This all is the threats, this all is the risk on by the IT system on the internal control. So finally we, this all is covered. Finally we taken um, small point, that is documentation. Documentation, you can document each and everything, like identified risk also document, and discussion with the engagement team is also document. Key elements of the entity and its environment is also document. So this all is about the SA 315. Okay, thank you very much.